Do you know that fall is called fall because leaves fall in fall? I made that up. It seems reasonable though, but it also begs the question, why do leaves fall in the first place in autumn? And yes, I said autumn because I don't want to say fall twice. Okay, so before we talk about leaves falling, we need to talk about why they change color in the first place. I promise it'll come in handy later. To start though, we need to establish what actually makes leaves green. Now, if you've spent more than 5 minutes in biology class, you would know that it's chlorophyll which makes the leaves green. Everybody knows it's chlorophyll. So when chlorophyll slows down production in a tree during fall, the leaf reveals its actual colors, red, yellow, orange, for the different pigment underneath the leaf. Almost like a mask. Okay, that's fine, Hugh, but why do chlorophyll levels drop in the first place, you may or may not say, which I'm gonna answer right now with an answer to your question. This is actually a pretty big misconception that I believe before researching for this video. It's not actually the quality of sunlight, whatever that means, it's actually just the amount of sunlight that the tree gets. And because of the shifting of planets or whatever, leaves just don't get as much sunlight, causing them to drop. I'll talk more about that later. Okay, well, why can't leaves just stay on the tree? Wouldn't it be better if the leaves were able to absorb at least some sunlight in the winter? That would be fine if having leaves were like having mini solar panels on the roof of your treehouse that were self-powered. Jesus, who writes this? If it weren't for the fact that leaves take up more resources than they would give to the tree to function. It's a net negative to keep the leaves on there, even if they do absorb some sunlight. Okay, well, why are trees so worried about the winter anyways? Just put on a coat and they'll be fine. Okay, you've clearly forgotten what it's like in winter. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, literally. It's dry, and more importantly, cold. Around 50% of a tree is water, and you know what happens when water gets below 32 degrees Fahrenheit? It freezes and expands, literally exploding the cells of a tree. Coupled with the fact that sap, basically a tree's blood, is made mostly of water, it's easy to see why trees abandon their leaves so quickly. Their lives depend on it, and that's not even mentioning. One, because the winter is so much more dry than any part of the year, the soil can get sapped, get it, of its water and leave the tree with nothing to use. And number two, the fluctuations in temperature from day to night to day again causes cracks to form in the tree, which is admittedly pretty cool. To us, not to the tree. Okay, so how do trees survive the winter at all? Wouldn't they just explode or something? Okay, so there are two main methods a tree uses to survive the winter. One is about bubbles and how water moves in a tree, but that's not very interesting and I didn't want to research it. So we're instead going to talk about the more impressive method. That involves lowering the freezing point of the tree's cellular fluid itself. To paraphrase Purdue University, as winter approaches, trees start converting starch to sugar. They then incorporate this with water inside the plant cells, which lowers the natural freezing point of the cellular fluid. This sugar water is then able to withstand temperatures of around 20 degrees Fahrenheit, with some trees able to withstand temperatures of negative 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, well, why don't all trees have needles like evergreens so they always have some sort of leafy energy source? Again, to answer that question, we're gonna need to answer another question beforehand. Why do evergreens have needles in the first place? And no, it's not because they're dark and mysterious like that. The actual answer is pretty simple. Evergreens have needles instead of leaves. Common knowledge. These needles are thick and durable, and are able to hold water for longer than regular leaves, but don't absorb as much sunlight as their deciduous counterparts. Instead of leaves that get replaced every single year but are more effective, evergreens play the long game and are thus able to last much longer. Let's circle back to trees for just a moment though. How do they actually know when to drop their leaves? The answer? Environmental changes and hormones. Basically, the change in temperature and light is sensed by the tree, which then produces hormones to release the leaves. A quote from Stack Exchange reads, "It occurs when a layer of cells known as the abscission zone elongate and weaken, causing the leaf to fall." Thanks, Stack Exchange. But hold on, trees can just sense hot or cold and use that to reference when to drop their leaves? Not exactly. Research suggests that trees aren't able to feel temperature the same way that we do, but hold on here. A protein called phytochrome B, which can sense light and temperature, triggers plant growth and controls flowering time. How it does so is not fully understood. Not fully understood? And it's not like they can just feel heat and light, they can also hear stuff? Okay, at this point you might be saying, yeah, of course leaves can feel and hear stuff, that's how they do the stuff that they do. First of all, you're not very nice. But second of all, I'm not done. I have one more trick up my sleeve. It said plants can get stressed. According to BBC Earth, while we don't know much about their sensory mechanisms, we do know that they can be overstimulated and get stressed. That's a real chill way to put it, Bethany Nichols. Conclusion time, I guess? Maybe? Could trees take over the world? I mean, obviously not, but think about it. They're everywhere, they use their roots to connect and communicate like a hive mind. If they just had some sort of mind, we would be at their mercy. Wait, why did I start this video? Why do leaves fall in autumn? Oh yeah, why the fuck am I talking about this?